The sky above Earth turned black with wings. Hundreds of alien ships, jagged and silver, sliced through the clouds like knives. Their shadows swallowed cities whole. Commander Vrak stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Wrath of Zinth, his insect-like body trembling with excitement. His species had conquered planets far stronger than this one. Planets with armies of giants, with oceans of fire, with skies full of storms that could melt steel. But Earth was soft, weak. Its humans would kneel or burn. Begin descent. Vrak hissed, clicking his mandibles. His voice echoed through the fleet's comms, sharp and cruel. This rock will be ours before sunset. On the ground, chaos erupted. In New Delhi, a teenage cadet named Priya sprinted across a military base, her boots kicking up dust. Sirens screamed. Fighters scrambled into cockpits. Generals shouted orders no one could hear. Priya wasn't a soldier, not yet, but she'd trained for this. She'd studied the Zinthians for years, memorizing their tactics, their weaknesses, the way their ships moved like swarming insects. Still, nothing prepared her for the sight of their fleet blotting out the sun. "They're here," she whispered, clutching her helmet. "They're actually here." Above her, Vrak's flagship hovered. His voice boomed from speakers across the planet, translated into every language. "Humans, surrender now or be erased." Governments froze. Leaders debated. Soldiers aimed. Trembling guns at the sky. Priya's commander barked into a radio. "Where's the backup fleet? The satellites, the dam, anything?" "There's nothing," a tech replied, fingers flying over a keyboard. "Our sensors show no ships, no weapons, just them." Priya's stomach dropped. Earth's defenses were a joke. They'd hidden their real strength for decades, waiting for this moment. But what if the plan had failed? What if the Star Destroyers, the last hope, never came? Vrak sneered at the delay. "Pathetic," he muttered. He raised a clawed hand. "Orbital bombardment. Reduce their cities to ash." The Zinthian ships tilted downward. Energy beams charged, glowing red like dying stars. Priya closed her eyes. She thought of her family hiding in bunkers, of her grandfather's voice. "They'll come, trust the plan." Then the sky split open. A jagged tear ripped through the atmosphere, bleeding light like a wound. The air itself seemed to scream. From the gap poured ships, towering, monstrous, their hulls scarred by 1,000 wars. They moved like predators, silent and sure. The lead ship sighed red. "Issues of Earth. Class. Star Destroyer." Vrak froze. His tail coiled tight. "What is this?" His science officer trembled. "Unidentified energy signatures. Weapons output exceeds Zinthian dreadnoughts. Their hulls..." He choked. "Their hulls are alive, regenerating." Priya gasped, staring upward. Her radio crackled. A calm voice cut through the static. "This is Captain Rao of Earth Fleet. You've bombed the wrong rock." The Zinthians barely had time to react. The Star Destroyers fired. Turbo lasers lit the sky, turning night into day. Beams of white-hot death lanced down, striking Zinthian cruisers. One ship exploded so violently, its debris rained molten metal on Tokyo. Another vanished in a flash, its core breached. The Wrath of Zinth shuddered as a blast grazed its hull, sending it spinning. "How?" Vrak roared, claws digging into his throne. "Their signals were silent, their tech was primitive. They lied," his pilot whimpered. On the ground, Priya laughed, tears streaming down her face. She grabbed her phone, live-streaming the battle. Millions watched as alien ships crumpled like paper. Humans cheered, wept, hugged strangers. For the first time in history, the world wasn't afraid. Vrak's exoskeleton turned a sickly green. He stared at the Star Destroyers, their weapons humming like angry bees. "Order the fleet to regroup. We must..." Another blast tore through his formation. A Zinthian carrier imploded, its explosion lighting up the Indian Ocean like a second sun. Priya sprinted to a terminal, her hands flying over keys. She hacked into the Star Destroyer's network, a test, just to see if she could. To her shock, the system let her in. A message blinked on screen. Welcome, Cadet Prakash. Ready to play? She grinned. Oh, I'm ready. Meanwhile, Vrak's fury boiled over. They're hiding technology like gods. How? His science officer pointed a shaking claw at Earth. Their databases. They've been studying us for centuries. They knew we'd come. Vrak's mandibles snapped shut. He'd seen civilizations beg, surrender, or die quietly. Never had he faced a species that turned the tables so fast. So hard. Priya's stream went viral. Viewers watched her reprogram a captured Xinthian drone, turning it against its masters. The bot marched through a battlefield, stomping on alien, pilots like bugs. Someone added subtitles. Grandma's Revenge. Vrak saw it. His tail lashed. This is madness. But the humans weren't done. The USS Denver, a smaller destroyer, darted toward the Himalayas, luring 3 Xinthian fighters into a canyon. The ships vanished behind the peaks, then, poof, gone. They ambushed us, Vrak snarled. How? His pilot gulped. They used gravity mines, hidden in mountain ranges. Priya's voice crackled over the comms, amplified by the star. Destroyers. Bye-bye, bug eyes, check your blind spots. Vrak's tail twitched. He turned to his science officer. Scan for weaknesses, weapons, leaders, anything. The officer hesitated. Commander, their leaders are everywhere. Nowhere. Their fleet acts as one mind. Vrak's exoskeleton paled. Explain. They're not following a single general. They're improvising. Every soldier is a commander. For the first time in his life, Vrak felt something alien. Fear. He stared at the screen. The Star Destroyers weren't just winning. They were toying with him, luring him into traps, broadcasting his defeat live, mocking him. Priya hacked another drone, this time near the Eiffel Tower. The bot waved at cameras, its mechanical arm flipping off the Xinthians. The feed zoomed in on its chest plate, where someone had spray-painted, "Made in Earth, suck it, space bugs." Vrak's fist slammed the console. Wipe them out, every last one. But the humans had other plans. As night fell, the Star Destroyers split into squads, each led by a mix of AI and cadets like Priya. They struck fast, blasting engines, hacking, communications, dropping EMP grenades from stolen hovercrafts. In Jakarta, a militia group armed with microwave ovens wired as EMPs fried a Xinthian tank. Grandma's recipe, one fighter joked before blowing up the rig. By dawn, half the Xinthian fleet was scrap. Vrak stared at the wreckage, his breath ragged. They're not just fighting back. They're enjoying it. A junior officer whispered, Commander, do we retreat? Vrak's claws dug into his throne. Retreat? Impossible. But as the Star Destroyers regrouped, their weapons glowing brighter, he realized the truth. Earth wasn't a planet, it was a trap, and the Xinthians had walked right in. The Xinthian fleet regrouped near the Himalayas, their shattered ships glowing like wounded fireflies. Commander Vrak's exoskeleton flickered with rage, his mandibles snapping so hard they chipped. This is impossible, he hissed, staring at the holographic feed of Earth's Star Destroyers. The ships moved in perfect sync, weaving through clouds and mountains like ghosts. One of them, the Issues of Earth, hovered over Mount Everest, its hull etched with the words, Home, sweet home. On the ground, Priya Prakash crouched in a bunker beneath Mumbai, her fingers flying over a stolen Xinthian control panel. The screen blinked with data, ship trajectories, energy levels, weak spots. She'd hacked into the alien network 3 minutes ago, and now she was everywhere. Her live stream had gone viral, but this wasn't for views. This was for survival. Priya. A voice crackled over her headset. Captain Rao himself. We've got a problem. Vrak's flagship just rerouted power to its engines. He's planning to retreat and take half the planet with him. Priya's eyes widened. She'd read the Xinthian files. He's charging a gravity beam, she muttered. It'll rip the core out of the Earth if he fires it here. Stop him, Rao ordered. Priya grinned. Oh, I've got a great idea. Above New Delhi, the Zynthian flagship trembled as its engines roared to life. Vrak slammed a clawed fist into his throne. We will not be humiliated by apes, he bellowed. Prepare the gravity beam. We'll crush their planet before we leave. Commander, a junior officer squeaked. Sensors detect something inside the beam's target zone. It's small, fast, everywhere. Vrak turned just as the feed filled with static. On every Zynthian screen, a pixelated image appeared. A cartoon frog wearing sunglasses flipping off the camera. Text scrolled beneath it. Frog out, bye. What is this nonsense? Vrak screamed. Too late. Priya's virus hit. Back in Mumbai, Priya slammed her fist on the keyboard. Go. Go, go, she yelled. The virus, a swarm of digital frogs she'd coded in high school, spread through the Zynthian network like wildfire. Ships lurched midair as controls glitched. Pilots shouted as their screens filled with dancing frogs. On the wrath of Zinth, chaos erupted. Our weapons are frozen. The beam is misfiring. Vrak's tail lashed wildly. Shut it down. Shut it. Too late. The gravity beam fired, but instead of targeting Earth's core, it yanked a Zynthian supply ship into its path. The ship imploded, taking half the flagship's hull with it. Priya's livestream captured the explosion. Millions watched as Vrak's face filled the screen, his exoskeleton pale with disbelief. Someone added subtitles. Plot twist. Captain Rao seized the opening. All units, strike now. Earth star destroyers dove like hawks. The USS Denver emerged from a storm cloud, its hull camouflaged with stolen Zynthian paint. A squad of drones, reprogrammed by Priya, swarmed. Behind it, firing EMP bursts that fried enemy shields. In Jakarta, a teenage militia leader named Arjun hijacked a Zynthian hovercraft using a car battery and a PlayStation controller. Eat this, Bugs, he yelled, launching a homemade plasma grenade into an alien tank. The tank exploded into glitter. Grandma's recipe, he joked, repeating the meme. No one laughed. They were too busy filming. Vrak's flagship listed sideways, its engines smoking. Retreat, he roared. Fall back to the Pacific. Trench, regroup. But Earth's forces weren't done. Priya's hack deepened. She rerouted Zynthian drones to attack their own ships, then tapped into their comms. Her voice echoed across every alien frequency. Hey, Zynthians! Check this out. A video played. Footage of a Zynthian pilot falling into a trash compactor. The caption read, Your future. Vrak's science officer stared at the feed, horrified. They're inside our systems. They're inside everything. They're not just fighting, Vrak whispered. They're playing. As if to prove his point, a star destroyer near Sydney broadcast a giant hologram above the battlefield. A dancing banana wearing a cape. Text flashed beneath it. Earth Defense Team, bananas for hire. Zynthian morale crumbled. By nightfall, the aliens were cornered. Their last stronghold was a floating base near the Mariana Trench, shielded by layers of plasma armor. Vrak paced his bridge, his tail twitching. They can't break through, he muttered. They can't. He was wrong. The issues of Earth descended, its hull glowing with a new weapon, the quantum drill, a spinning spike of pure energy. Priya watched from her bunker, breath held. Come on, Captain Rao. The drill struck. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the Zynthian base screamed. Alarms blared. Lights flickered. The shield shattered like glass. Vrak staggered. How? Priya's voice cut through his comms, cheerful and smug. You ever heard of a virus in the shield generator? The battle ended with a final punchline. As Zynthian ships fled into hyperspace, the USS Denver launched one last attack, a missile wrapped in a banner reading, Thanks for the tech. The missile carried a gift, a Zynthian AI programmed to scream you suck in every language known to Earth. Vrak watched his fleet dissolve into sparks. His science officer trembled. Commander, do we surrender? Vrak's claws dug into his throne. Surrender? To humans? Then he saw the final insult. A Xinthian drone reprogrammed by Priya hovered outside his window. It held a sign. Betty. You regret not doing your research. Vrak's exoskeleton turned gray. Earth wasn't just winning, they were making it personal. The Xinthian fleet limped toward the Pacific Trench, their once proud ships reduced to smoldering wrecks. Commander Vrak's exoskeleton had turned a sickly gray, his mandibles trembling with fury. This is not war, he hissed, clawing at his throne. It's a joke. On Earthside, the mood was anything but. In a bunker beneath Sydney Harbor, Captain Rao slammed his fist on a steel table, sending coffee cups clattering. They're cornered but not beaten, he growled. Vrak's planning something. He's not the type to run. Priya Prakash, still buzzing from her latest hack, leaned over a holographic map of the trench. Her fingers danced across the screen, tracing Xinthian escape routes. He's got one last play, she muttered. He'll try to trigger a planetary quake, collapse the ocean floor, take half the coastlines with him. Rao's eyes narrowed. How do we stop it? Priya grinned. We go deeper. The USS Denver dove into the Mariana Trench, its hull groaning under the pressure. Inside, Priya sat cross-legged on the floor, surrounded by stolen Xinthian tech and a laptop duct-taped shut. A squad of cadets watched as she typed furiously, her live stream still running. Millions tuned in, breath held. Okay, she mumbled. If I can reroute the destroyer's sonar through this drone's speakers, I might be able to jam their seismic triggers. A cadet named Arjun tossed her a soda. You're a wizard, you know that? Priya sipped it, then froze. Wait. Soda. She yanked the can open, spilling fizzy liquid onto a Xinthian control panel. The machine hissed, then flickered to, Yes, they're pressure sensitive. If we flood the trench with carbonated water... Arjun blinked. You're insane. And genius, Priya said, already wiring the destroyer's coolant system to a cargo hold of soda cans. Tell Grandma I said thanks. Above, the Xinthians regrouped. Vrak stood on his damaged bridge, his tail lashing. Humans thrive on chaos, he spat, but even they cannot survive the crushing depths. His science officer trembled. Commander, sensors detect unusual activity below. It's bubbling. Vrak sneered. Bubbling? Since when do oceans... The Wrath of Xinth shuddered, alarms blared. What now? A pilot screamed. Pressure levels are spiking. Something's destabilizing the trench. Priya's voice crackled over the comms, cheerful and smug. Hey, Bugs, ever heard of the soda bomb? The trench erupted. A geyser of carbonated water shot into the air, dragging Xinthian ships like rag dolls. The Wrath of Xinth lurched sideways, its engines sputtering. On board, Vrak clung to his throne as soda cans exploded everywhere, short-circuiting consoles. Report, he barked. Coolant systems flooded, hull integrity failing. And why is everything sticky? Priya's livestream showed the carnage. Viewers watched as Xinthian drones floated helplessly in fizzy water, their sensors blinded. Someone added subtitles. Carbonated chaos, you've been bubbled. Arjun high-fived Priya. You just drowned an alien fleet with soda. Not just soda, she said, grinning. Grandma's secret recipe. Captain Rao seized the moment. All units strike while they're stuck. Earth Star Destroyers surged forward. The issues of Earth hovered above the trench, its quantum drill spinning like a buzzsaw. Priya hacked into its systems remotely, linking it to the destroyer's sonar. Let's see how they like a little tectonic jazz, she said, adjusting. The frequency. The drill hummed, emitting a low, resonant tone. The trench walls trembled. Vrak's science officer stared at the feed, horrified. They're triggering controlled quakes. They'll bury us alive. Impossible, Vrak roared. No species could calculate such. The ground split open. A tidal wave of mud and rock swallowed half the Xinthian fleet. Ships imploded like crushed cans. Priya's stream zoomed in on a Xinthian pilot screaming as his cockpit filled with soda. Text flashed. Drowned in fizz. R.I.P. By dawn, the battle had moved to the skies. The Xinthians, desperate and outnumbered, launched a swarm of kamikaze drones at Tokyo. Each carried a micro-black hole designed to collapse the city into nothingness. Priya spotted the threat first. "Captain, they're heading for the skyline." Rao didn't hesitate. "Divert all power to the Aegis shield. Now." The shield flickered to life above Tokyo, a shimmering dome of energy. The drone struck and bounced off, ricocheting into the ocean. Priya's fingers flew over her keyboard. "I've got an idea. Hold the shield." "Explain," Rao snapped. She grinned. "They want to collapse the city? Let's collapse their drones instead." Using the shield's reflection, Priya redirected the drone's black holes inward. The swarm imploded, vanishing into a tiny vortex that sucked itself out of existence. The feed cut to a Xinthian commander staring at the sky. What just happened?" Priya's voice echoed over his comms. "You got outplayed by a teenager, with a soda can." Vrak's rage boiled over. "Enough! We end this now!" He ordered his last surviving ship, the final Sting, to ram Earth's largest star destroyer, the issues of Earth. "If we die," he snarled, "we take their symbol with us." Priya saw the move. "Oh, no, you don't," she muttered. She hacked into the Xinthian ship's navigation, rerouting its controls to a game of Tetris on her laptop. "What are you doing?" Rao demanded. "Buying time." Vrak watched in horror as the final Sting veered wildly, dodging invisible blocks. "What sorcery is this?" "It's called leveling up," Priya said, smirking. The ship crashed into a mountain, exploding in a fireball that lit up the sky. As the dust settled, Vrak slumped on his throne, his exoskeleton pale. "They're not just winning," he whispered. "They're toying with us." Above him, the Star Destroyers formed a ring around the planet, their hulls glowing with a new message. "Earth Defense Team, still playing." Priya's livestream ended with her giving a thumbs-up, soda can in hand. Millions cheered. The war wasn't over yet. But the Xinthians knew the truth now. Earth wasn't just a planet. It was a game show. And the humans were the grandmasters. The Xinthian flagship, the final Sting II, Vrak's hastily assembled backup, trembled as it hovered above the ruins of what was once Jakarta. Commander Vrak's exoskeleton had turned a ghostly white, his mandibles twitching with rage. "They mock us," he hissed, clawing at his throne. "With soda, with memes, with dancing holograms." Across the galaxy, Xinthian survivors watched the live stream of Earth's war. Their species had conquered 300 worlds, but never had they faced an enemy that turned battle into a game show. Vrak's science officer trembled. "Commander, do we retreat? We've lost 90% of our fleet." "Retreat?" Vrak roared. "We will not be erased by apes who fight with microwaves and jokes." He slammed his fist on the console, activating a hidden frequency. "Prepare the Doomwave protocol." On Earth, Priya Prakash stared at her laptop, surrounded by empty soda cans and tangled wires. Her live stream had gone silent for the first time in days. "Something's wrong," she muttered. "They're too quiet." Captain Rao stood behind her, arms crossed. "Vrak's planning a last strike. He's not the type to fold." Priya nodded, her fingers flying over the keyboard. She hacked into Xinthian comms, sifting through data until she found it. A countdown timer labeled Doomwave Initiate, 12 hours. "What's Doomwave?" Rao asked. Priya paled. "It's a phase shift weapon. It'll erase half the planet's surface and replace it with void. No air, no gravity, just nothing." Arjun, the hovercraft jacker, dropped his soda. "So we die instantly or get sucked into space?" Priya grinned, already typing. "Neither. We stop it." Vrak's flagship descended toward the Himalayas, where the Doomwave generator, a stolen Earth satellite, orbited silently. "Once activated," Vrak snarled, "the humans will vanish like dust in the wind." But as Xinthian drones approached, the satellite alarms blared. "Commander!" a pilot screamed. The satellite systems are laughing. What? The screen flickered. A pixelated cat wearing sunglasses appeared, dancing to a bass drop. Text scrolled beneath it. Nope. Priya's voice crackled over the comms. You guys really need to work on your passwords. Back. In Mumbai, Priya high-fived Arjun. I rerouted the Doomwave's code through a TikTok filter. Now it's just spamming cat memes. Rao smirked. Good work, but Vrak won't stop. He'll try something else. He was right. Vrak's flagship split into 3 smaller ships, each armed with experimental gravity mines. If I cannot erase the planet, he growled, I will rip it apart piece by piece. The mines deployed near Tokyo, Sydney, and New York, their cores glowing with unstable energy. Earth's Aegis shield held, but cracks formed. Priya's screen flashed red. Mines detected, shield life, 30 minutes. She cursed. We need to disarm them fast, but they're coated with Zynthian biolocks. Arjun frowned. So only a Zynthian can shut them down? Priya grinned. Not just any Zynthian. Their leader. Rao's eyes widened. You want Vrak? I want him alive, Priya said. And close. Vrak's flagship hovered. Above the Pacific, its engines roaring. Earth's end begins now, he bellowed. Then his screen glitched. A video played. Priya, sitting cross-legged in a bunker, holding a Zynthian drone controller. Hey Bugs, want to play tag? Before Vrak could react, the reprogrammed drone swarmed his ship, sticking to its hull like digital barnacles. Priya's voice cut through the chaos. You're it! The drones activated, rerouting the flagship's navigation. The ship lurched sideways, pulled toward Tokyo's gravity mine. No! Vrak screamed. Reverse thrust! Disengage! Too late. The flagship hurtled toward the mine, its systems screaming. Priya's face filled the screen, smug and unblinking. Tag, you're grounded. The ship collided with the mine's field, its engines short-circuiting. It crash-landed on a deserted island near Tokyo, its hull crumpled like foil. Priya's plan worked faster than expected. Rao, get a team to that island. We need Vrak. Alive. Why? Rao asked. To hack the other mines, she said. His DNA's the key. As Earth forces surrounded the crash site, Vrak stumbled out of his wrecked flagship, his exoskeleton cracked. This is not how it ends, he roared. Priya's livestream zoomed in on him, his face a mask of fury. Text flashed. Plot. Twist. Villain becomes janitor. Arjun snorted. What does that even mean? It means, Priya said, we're making him clean up his own mess. The final showdown happened in Sydney. With Vrak captured and grudgingly disabling the remaining mines, Earth's forces cornered the last Zynthian drones near the Opera House. Captain Rao stood atop a star destroyer, shouting orders. Priya hacked the drones' comms, replacing their attack protocols with a playlist of whale songs. They're just floating now, Arjun said, watching confused drones spin in circles. Whale songs disrupt their neural networks, Priya said. Who knew? As the drones fell harmlessly into the ocean, Vrak was dragged aboard the Issues of Earth, his tail lashing. You think you've won? He spat. My empire will return. Rao smirked. Let him come. We've got a new motto now. He gestured to the destroyer's hull where Priya had spray-painted, Earth Defense Team still playing. By sunset, the war was over. Zynthian survivors fled to deep space, their ships patched together from wreckage. Vrak's final log entry was bitter. They didn't win because they were stronger, they won because they laughed while they fought. On Earth, cities erupted in celebration. Priya's livestream ended with her tossing a soda can into a Zynthian drone's mouth. Text flashed. Game over, humans win. But as the Star Destroyers regrouped, Rao stared at the stars, his voice quiet. This was just the first round. They'll be back. Priya nodded, her grin fading. Yeah, and next time, we'll be ready. The stars above Earth burned cold and silent as the last Zynthian ships limped into hyperspace. Commander Vrak's flagship, the final sting, too, lay in ruins on a deserted island near Tokyo, its hull crumpled like paper. Vrak himself knelt. On the deck of Earth's Issues of Earth, his exoskeleton cracked, his mandibles trembling with rage and disbelief. Around him, humans celebrated, not with violence but with laughter, music, and live streams of his humiliation. Priya Prakash stood over him, holding a soda can like a trophy. "You know," she said, grinning, "you guys really need to work on your security systems." Vrak snarled, his tail lashing. "This war is not over. My empire will return." Captain Rao leaned against a control panel, arms crossed. "Let 'em come. We've got a reputation to keep." He gestured to the destroyer's hull, where Priya had spray-painted the words, "Earth Defense Team, still playing." Back on Earth, cities erupted in chaos and joy. In Mumbai, Arjun hijacked a Zynthian drone and programmed it to deliver pizzas to stunned crowds. "Grandma's recipe for peace," he joked. In Sydney, students spray-painted Zynthian helmets with glitter and sold them as space souvenirs. Priya's livestream hit 1 billion views, its final frame showing Vrak's face glitching through a filter labeled "Sad Frog." But not everyone was celebrating. In a hidden bunker beneath the Himalayas, Earth's Council of Defense gathered. Generals, scientists, and politicians stared at a holographic map of the galaxy. Captain Rao entered, flanked by Priya and a bruised, restrained Vrak. "You're sure about this?" a general asked Rao. Rao nodded. "The Zynthians will regroup. They'll send something worse. We need to be ready." Vrak laughed bitterly. "You think you've won? My empire has conquered 300 worlds. You're just a footnote in our history." Priya stepped forward. "Funny thing about footnotes, sometimes they become headlines." She tapped her tablet, pulling up intercepted Zynthian transmissions. The feed showed alien warlords arguing, their voices panicked. "They hacked our systems. They turned our weapons into toys. Their memes broke our soldiers' morale. They're not human, they're monsters." Vrak's exoskeleton paled. This cannot be." "Oh, it is," Priya said. "You guys underestimated us. Big mistake." The council debated Earth's next move for hours. Some wanted to rebuild. Others demanded revenge. But Priya had a different idea. "Why? Don't hide," she said, pacing the room. "We advertise." Rao raised an eyebrow. "Explain." She grinned. "The Zynthians lost because they thought we were weak. What if we made sure every alien species knew the truth?" She pulled up a video on the hologram, a montage of Earth's victory set to heavy metal music. It ended with the words, "Earth, not for sale, seriously." The council stared. A general snorted. "You want to market our win?" "Why not?" Priya said. "Let the galaxy know we're not just a planet, we're a brand." Rao smirked. "I like it." Across the galaxy, Zynthian survivors regrouped on a barren moon. Vrak's science officer trembled as he presented a report to the High Command. "Commander Vrak's final log entry," he said, voice shaking. The hologram flickered to life. Vrak's face filled the screen, his exoskeleton gray with exhaustion. "Earth is not a world," he muttered. "It's a virus, a disease. They didn't win because they were stronger. They won because they laughed while they fought." He paused, mandibles twitching. "Their memes are weapons, their chaos is strategy. And their leader," he glared off screen. "Their leader is a child with a soda can." The feed cut to static. The High Command stared in silence. Then one spoke. We should leave them alone." Another nodded. "Yes. Let the humans keep their rock. It's not worth the nightmares." On Earth, Priya's plan went viral. The council launched a galaxy-wide broadcast showcasing Earth's victory in vivid detail. The video included a Zynthian tank exploding into glitter, a drone flipping off aliens while playing Baby Shark, Vrak's face glitching through filters labeled Sad Frog, Crybaby, and Plot Twist. The message was clear. "Try us, and you'll regret it. P.S. We'll meme you to death." But not all reactions were fear. On a distant trading station, a pirate captain watched the feed and laughed. "Those Earthlings? They're my kind of crazy. He turned to his crew. Set course for Earth. I've got a business proposal. On a forest moon, a rebel leader studied the footage. If apes can beat Xinthians, she muttered, maybe we can too. Even among Xinthians, some whispered admiration. They fought like demons, a young pilot said. With joy, with pride. Months later, Earth's fleets expanded. Star destroyers patrolled the stars, their hulls emblazoned with the new motto, Earth Defense Team still playing. Priya became the face of the effort, her live stream evolving into a training program for cadets across the planet. Arjun opened a chain of pizza shops called Grandma's Recipe. Captain Rao stood atop the issues of Earth, staring at the stars. They'll be back, he said quietly. Priya joined him, soda can in hand. Yeah, and next time? She grinned. We'll be ready. Below them, Earth gleamed, a blue marble of chaos, courage, and memes. The galaxy had learned one thing. Never underestimate a planet full of humans, because when Earth fights back, it wins.